Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Attention.
They are not ready for prime time.
Prime time. That's the name.
Prime time.
What time is it? Showtime prime time.
It's XL Primetime. Featuring Joe C.
I reduced my toilet paper down to 3 squares.
Matt Hayes.
Big asses and big thighs, yeah.
And Leon Searcy.
Bringing you love, peace, and soul.
How you like me now? How you like me now?
XL Primetime in the new time on a Thursday with Jaguars programming, including the Doug Peterson Coaches Show coming up a little bit later on this afternoon, so welcome in. We have carved out a couple of hours of college and NFL talk, including your Jaguars. How much better or worse do you feel about them from the time the schedule came out to right now that training camp is over? We got that question for you and plenty of others when it comes to your Jacksonville Jaguars and the rest of the National Football League. This is the last weekend of preseason ball. Tomorrow night, Jacksonville's on the football field against the ATL. We're going to find out how many of those starters are going to play and for how long. So we got lots and lots and lots to get into. I was talking to Jaguar fans last night at the Golf Club of Southampton, and they are fired up. And it's kind of led me to my question, Leon and Maddie, just kind of getting a feel for where this football team is at, because we did our predictions, and we'll remind people of what we predicted. And then how much better or worse has it gotten in your mind from then until now? Because you know a little bit more about this team. You know a little bit more about all those other football teams that they're going to face. So I figured we get into that today. And then we got college football. We did our ACC predictions yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Leon Searcy went with
The Canes all day, baby. 11-1.
Matt Hayes went with
In the ACC?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who did I go with?
You went with Florida
I went
State.
with the Canes. I went with the Canes.
You went with the Canes?
Yeah.
And I went with Clemson. So we did ACC yesterday. We'll do Big 12 today. Tomorrow we got to do SEC and Big 10. So we got all sorts of things to get into. So I just want to start off with the Corona call on a Thursday as we get it rolling. Get you a little fired up for one of the first great weekends of real football coming up on Saturday with FSU and Georgia Tech. So thanks to Corona, we got a little Corona feel as we head into today and the weekend. And they've got a great ultimate tailgate package that you can sign up for at 1010XL.com. You got weekly prizes that they've set up at 1010XL.com, and then the Corona monthly prize pack as well. So definitely check that out. All right, so.
I did reserve yesterday on Virginia Tech, just FYI.
Yeah, you did kind of like.
Bit.
You hackered it is basically what you did.
100% hackered. I freely admit it.
You put that. You put that.
In fact, if they win it, in 4 months, I'm going to go, I told you guys.
I told you, man.
That's your buffer. That's your buffer, baby.
I told you, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's just start with the Jaguar feel. And then you guys can hit the text line, 641-1010. Let us know what you're thinking about how much better or worse your record has changed or your opinion of this Jaguars team. You can go to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can go to YouTube, and you can hit the chat. But what was your record?
My record was 11-6. And I'm going to stick with 11-6. I think that's a good record. I think that's a record that could actually win the division. This team's got a tough task on the road. They got Buffalo on the road. They got Detroit on the road. They got the Eagles. That's a tough task. It's a tough task. But listen, going into training camp, I was excited to see this Jaguar team work on some of the flaws that they had in last year, especially early on during the practice, inside, the short yardage stuff, the red zone stuff, all that kind of stuff. And I think the intensity picked up as well. I think there was a lot of healthy competition. When you got a good roster, it's always good that you have competition. I mean, listen, days of the past when we used to go through Jaguar rosters, when it was Jag on Jag, we kind of knew who was going to make the team because the roster was so depleted. It's so deplorable. But I think now this is a better roster, a better team. And I come out of training camp with, I still got me 11-6, the same record I picked before the training camp.
So I'm torn on this.
Yeah, I am too.
So I picked them to go 9-8, and I thought they could win the division at 9-8. I still think 9-8 wins the division. I kind of look at this last year as I'm not exactly sure how much they upgraded on offense. I'm going to reserve on Brian Thomas Jr. because he could be an impact type player. Okay, I think the offensive line's just not good, and you can try and dress it up all you want. You can tell me it's good. I'm not believing it until I see it. But I think they're going to be better on defense. And if they were better on defense in any of those final 5 losses in the last 6 games last year, they might win 2 of those.
Yeah.
And then you got a 11-win team.
So you're saying if they didn't give up 354 to Jake Browning, they might have had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, then you got an 11-win team that's probably, the 4 seed? Right? So, I mean, can they win 11 games with this team? That's the question. I started out at 9-8. I really would like to stay at 9-8 and still say division champs. But I'm going to go to 10-7 and say division champs.
All right. You're going to 10-7.
Going up 1.
You're holding up.
Holding off.
All right. And so, Augie, optimism usually reigns in the month of August, but then I'm also the, quote, off-season optimist, so I'm always believing. So when we did our schedule prediction, I kind of went wild. I went crazy. I picked some dubs that I don't know whether they – I picked them to win down in Miami. I still think they can win down in Miami. I think they can go to Houston and win that football game. I think they can beat Tennessee up there. So anyway, I had a 12-5. Now I am admittedly worried about the line. Okay, I am. I'll admit it. I'm not.
How could you not? I mean,
exactly.
seriously.
I'm not over the top like you two cats, but I will admit it. And so I'm just going to bridge back to 11. I'm going to bridge back to 11. And we'll go over at least some of the ideas that we had as far as look at the schedule where we thought the runs could take place. But the first 4 games, 3 of them on the road and all 4 against playoff teams,
really difficult.
That is a tough nut to crack to begin your season. Doesn't mean you can't do it. And if this football team has designs on getting Duval back to the top of the AFC South, they got to do stuff like that.
You got to get 2 wins.
Yeah, at a minimum.
I got him at 3. I got him at 3.
I know you're doing that. That's lunacy.
No, it's not.
You know I love you, but that's lunacy.
I got him at 3.
If you can get 2, I think you should be doing backflips. Seriously. That's a difficult lift, man.
Well, I think you can get, honestly, I think to Leon's point with 3, I think Miami, Cleveland, and Houston are all doable.
They're also all losable, too.
Well, of course. That's why we're doing this. I just like it, how I visualize it is the improvement on defense, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And what looks like a more flowing, free offense with Trevor. Healthy.
Plus, we haven't seen Armstead. We have no idea what kind of impact he's going to make.
No.
He may go in there and just be a monster.
Yeah.
And then it changes.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the dynamic of that defense changes dramatically.
Right.
So I also think it's interesting how he stayed the same. I went up 1, you went down 1.
I went down 1.
So all 3 of them, we're in different levels right now.
Yeah, we are.
But I also think, if I have it right, we all got South banners.
Yes,
right?
I do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. You got South banners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reclaim it.
So it's funny, like I said, I feel better about what I've seen in training camp, but I had to back it down because the May optimism, you want to talk about over the top. Okay. It's like, I was really drinking some teal back then.
Well, listen, the closer you get, you start to switch gears.
Yeah.
You know, the belief system actually goes down. The closer we
reassess.
The belief system actually goes down once we get closer to the season.
All right, so you guys jump in the YouTube chat, MyBookie Digital Studios. You can say, hey, I feel better about this. I don't feel as good about that. But it basically is a better or worse question from the time the schedule came out to now what you've seen. Training camp's over. You still have one more football game tomorrow night. You are going to see starters. So we may ask you this very same question again next week. But I just want to get a feel for where people are. Now, most or probably all of Duval is more fired up and believing and thinking that they can get it done, especially when this team's already produced a couple of wins. They've seen a good Tank. They've seen a good Brian Thomas. They've seen a fair amount of good. And so most of you probably will have, if you didn't already have a sky-high prediction, you might have one now. So let us know what you're thinking about that. All right, so let's slide over to the college world and at least just kind of lay this out. As far as we threw out a bold fact yesterday that since 2016, only 3 teams have been preseason number 1s, according to the betting odds. Only 3. Georgia, Alabama, and Clemson. And they all obviously produced natties. The only one that was denied when they came in as a preseason number 1 was Clemson when they lost to LSU. But Alabama and Clemson, I shouldn't say that, meaning that of the outlier was LSU, because Alabama was a preseason number one when Clemson beat them. Clemson was preseason number one, and Alabama beat them, and then Georgia just held serve these last 2 seasons before losing this last year. So when we start to look at it, it's an up for grabs feel in college football right now, that the possibilities are endless in terms of who might be able to pop up and snatch one this year. Or is it going to be same old, same old? You picked Miami yesterday.
I did.
And is it going to be same old, or are there going to be some up for grabs conference titles and, for that matter, CFP spots?
Well, I mean, Miami's got to play elite, and they got to win the games they're supposed to win. And the showcase games, they got to come out on top. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why they've struggled over the last couple of years is because that Georgia Tech thing was just an atrocity. It devastated the whole season. They didn't win but one game after that. But now all the talk that I'm getting out of Miami is that both sides of the ball look like SEC teams. You're saying the defensive front and the offensive line are big and physical and get after it. And we'll see. And that's the rumor. That's what I'm getting from down in Miami. And then Cam Ward, they're saying Cam Ward is legit. The receiving core, they got 3 legit receivers they can go get. They got a running back core. So, I mean, the talk of the town is that not that we're back, but we look the part. Mm-hmm. And that's important to me. Now you look the part, now go play the part.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Miami fans, Florida fans, you really do have to be, like, leaning in towards next week, thinking about how is this going to go. So if you guys want to hit the text line or jump in the YouTube chat, how are you feeling about what you've got coming up for next Saturday? Because it is a high-stakes game for 2 teams that are coming off losing years.
We are finally here, man. We've been talking about this for months.
And it is a high-stakes game.
It's a giant game. Honestly, it's giant for Billy Napier, giant for Mario Cristobal, giant for Leon Searcy. Mm-hmm. Leon and I were talking, actually, right before we got on the show, and we were talking about, like, what happens if, let's just say Miami lays a number on, he said, what if Miami lays a number on Billy Napier? What if they win 30-6, right? But they still won 8 games in Florida.
How dare you?
Do you fire Billy Napier? And my whole thing was, if Miami puts a 30-6 number on them, it will be so toxic around there. There's no way they're winning 8 games.
You wouldn't think
that it will go in the tank immediately.
Yeah,
immediately.
You would not think. And so I think more than anything else, to play off of the 30-6, both sides, for patience to still be part of the fan equation, both sides need to look good. Okay, it needs to be a classic 27-24, whatever it is, a 1-score game, both of them looking good offensively, and then one team just either making 1 score or making 1 stop for both fan bases to still believe. Mm-hmm. Would you agree? Because otherwise, what Matt's describing is Gator fans, as patient as they've been, they will exit stage
out the window. If they get whipped by 2 scores, the patience goes out the window.
Yeah, jump ship is a wrap.
Oh, I mean, well, why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
because nothing will have changed.
Yeah, if the score's 27-20, I mean, let's say 27-24, Florida wins.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I'm still outraged. The reason why I'm outraged is because all I've been hearing is all the noise about how good this team is, how legit this team is, how talented this team is. Mario's done it again with the recruiting. He's done it again with the portal. He got the quarterback.
Yeah.
All that. No. I wouldn't tank the season, but I would be outraged. Yeah. And as much smack talk that I've been talking, I couldn't back it up.
Especially lately.
Lately? Come on now.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they are immensely talented. They're the most talented team in the ACC. They are. Well, you go up and down that roster. You can look at that. No one has a better roster than they do in the ACC.
Okay, but maybe the one thing I'd say to that when you compare them to FSU is because you're giving them the upper hand because of the quarterback.
No, I love FSU's line of scrimmage.
Right.
I think Miami's are as good or better. I really do.
All right. So you guys jump in.
Miami on the edge. Ooh.
Yeah. They
get after the quarterback.
Yeah,
okay?
they do. And so for Florida's part in that, when you talk about the matchup, those guys up front, they're mean and green. And
Austin Barber's got a grown man coming at him.
Yeah.
First game.
And he's back and feeling a little bit better about his play, but he was a an up and down guy last year.
He was also a guy his first year that they were saying was going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, who is it? Barber, Slaughter? You can name a handful of guys that were meh last year that they're counting on being better.
But to be fair to Barber, he dealt with a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah.
Like I think potentially he's got a chance to be a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got Ruben Bain on him now. Game one. Let's see what you got, man.
Yeah. All right, we got plenty to get into. We love that you are hanging out with us every Thursday noon until 2. Francis Show will come up then, and then Jaguar programming with the Coach Show after that. It is XL Primetime.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Things you never hear Dan Hicken say.
I think you can make a little exception for me.
And why is that?
You don't know who I am?
Nope.
I'm Dan Hicken.
Baby!
Mornings on 1010XL.
What a mess.
Mia here. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just head on over to mybookie.ag, sign up, and you're ready to rock. When you bet with MyBookie, you're not just watching the games, folks. You're investing in every moment of the action. I'll say it from experience. A few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into one of the most exciting of the season. Literally, every catch, every sack, and every touchdown is another way to hit pay dirt using MyBookie. Don't forget to use promo code 1010XL when you sign up in order to claim up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Josie for the Preferred Group, Preferred Builders, Preferred Roofing. They've got a drywall division. They've got gutter help for you. They got all kinds of stuff. And so when you think of the construction game, you know that you've got one choice that you can make to cover a lot of ground. Now, building brand new remodels, additions, there's a lot of unknowns. So make sure you check out with a tried true company that's been in Jacksonville for a long time. PreferredBuildersJax.com. And if you need the roof replaced and that happens, you really need to be doing your research. Check out PreferredRoofingJax.com. Remember, the Preferred Group.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go
For
through.
an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Hicken here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Did it rain a lot this morning?
No, it was nice and sunny.
Well, the backyard's kind of swampy.
Huh, yeah. Especially where the septic tank is.
Oh, no. When was the last time we had our septic tank pumped?
Don't neglect your septic. Just call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing and septic experts. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you're stuck, call the Duck.
904-862-6769.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool. On 1010XL.
22 minutes after the noon hour, it's XL Primetime. Every Thursday, we are here in the noon hour. Joe C., Matt Hayes, Leon Searcy, and RJ cranking it out on a Thursday. Tomorrow night, you got the Jags in uniform for one last time in the preseason. And then you got that little bit of a lull because you'll go 3 Sundays before you see them again. And that's a big ball game. And like we said, for better or worse, do you have them better record-wise after what you've seen so far? Now that training camp is broken, or do you have them worse? You can definitely hit the text line. We've got a few that we want to get to coming up here in just a second. 641-1010. Of course, you can jump on the YouTube stream, and you can jump in the chat there as well and let us know what you're thinking about. Because, honestly, I think, like, you're going to have some that are going to land on the anti-side, which I get, and then you're going to have some that are going to – the enthusiasm is going to be bubbling over. One off the text line, go 8-4 at best. Well, I am curious when you say that, what is it that you're seeing that makes you think that's what it is right now? Because that's kind of what I want to know. What has changed for better or worse? You, Matt, me, we all adjusted. You went up, even though you're worried about the line, which is interesting.
I went up because of the defense.
Because of the defense. So anyway, that's what I want to know. If it's for better or worse, I want to know why. Where'd you get to where you got based on your opinion? 641-1010. You can definitely let us know.
Well, I kind of defeated the whole campaign because for better or worse means you go up or go down. That stayed the same.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
So if I'm telling you right now, you got to go up or down.
I got to go up or down. Where would I go? I would go up.
Go up. So then you start at 11.
Yeah, so I would go 12.
So you're going to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go 12.
Mm-hmm. If. But I honestly
you might be in that Super Bowl la la land that you're in.
I'm never going down that road again.
Yeah.
I would have to be at least in November before I mention that again.
Which I do have to say one thing about the Super Bowl prediction, and it made me think of the Uh-Oh song. The Uh-Oh song's being discussed right now.
Yes.
And
freely.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it came out with the.
Are you concerned by that?
Not at all.
I like the fact that it was part of the 90s throwback, which I thought was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But careful there. Just careful.
I mean, the main Jaguars account keeps tweeting it out.
Listen, it's not.
Bring it up. Bring it up, RJ.
You can't ride out linemen. I eat them for lunch. I hit them off with the 1-2 punch. Searcy. Take them down. ATL bound, Super Bowl bound.
All right.
By the way, he wrote the lyrics himself for that. Okay?
I did,
Nobody
by the way,
wrote them
yes.
for him.
Yeah, I know. Listen. I know everybody thinks that the Oh song has this bad mojo about it and don't bring it back or whatever. Listen, we had fun with that song, and we put it out. We didn't put it out. It came out without our notice, because the whole intention behind the song is that when we get to the Super Bowl, then, it's game on.
Right.
So, I mean, listen, if they want to bring it back, listen, I tell you what, we went 14-2. A lot of people forget that. You remember that. The championship loss against Tennessee, of course. But that 99 team, in my 11-year career, was the best team I ever played on. Absolutely the best team I ever played at.
And I think that, honestly, I think that's warranted praise. It really is.
A lot of people forget. They they want to remember the song. No, the song didn't beat us. You know what beat us? What beat us was McNair and Eddie George and that kind of stuff. That's what beat us. That stuff right there. That's what beat us in that game. Had nothing to do with no freaking song.
Yeah, it's true. You can't sit there and try and point to something that had. Now, you might have given the other side a little fuel, but we all know once the game starts, the upper hand was in the Jags' hand.
Well, guess what?
At the beginning of this game.
Absolutely.
First 2 quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guess what? The Dolphins heard the song too. And what happened to them when they came in the stadium?
You beat that hay.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
sent Danny Marino into retirement.
Yeah. So that's all good.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I was curious about it because one of our dudes was tweeting at me yesterday, and I'm like, this song it's out there. It's kind of picking up a little bit. It's not a little life.
Yeah, and I'm not. My whole thing is I agree with what Leon's saying completely. But my whole thing is there is an aura about that song, and the thought process, the narrative, however you want to look at it, is that was a big reason why they lost that game, which clearly is when you're talking about players that play at that level of football, a song is not going to change anything.
Yeah. No.
Bulletin board is not going to change anything. But it's still, that's part of the lore of that whole season. Is that song and how it came out and allegedly ruined everything.
Well, I'm going to tell you what Jimmy Smith told Coach Coughlin when he heard the song, because when he initially heard the song, he said this song is a huge distraction. We don't want to give the other team the upper edge on any. And Jimmy said, "Are you scared, Coach?" That's what he said. Are you scared? Because at the end of the day, you still got to play us. I don't care how mad you are.
Yeah.
We're talented. I don't care how mad you are about a song. We're still talented. You come in the All-Tail Stadium at the time. You're gonna get that. You know what?
You still had the better team, by the way.
Absolutely.
And you still lost that game.
And we still lost.
But that is how you have to. That is how you have to look at it. Is that attitude's got to be every bit of what you're doing. All right. Off the YouTube chat, 4-0, then 13-4. So that's that belief that you're talking about, Leon, coming out of the box hot. Losses to Jets, Eagles, Packers, and Lions. That Packers game comes up December 15th. That is a really, really big football game.
Let me just say this.
Depending on how things are playing out at that point.
If they start 4-0, okay?
Is the Packers let me make sure I got that right.
If they start 4-0, they're going to be the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not.
I would not go there.
That's not. Those 4 games are difficult, man. Just because you're playing the Browns here, if Deshaun is what Deshaun once was, and he's looked good in the preseason, that's a really good Browns team, both sides of the ball. So that's a heavy lift, that game. Going on the road against the Texans is a heavy lift, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
The Bills on the road is a heavy lift.
So I have to admit, I wanted to correct myself because I get Jets, Packers games mixed up because of Aaron. I have to apologize because it's the Jaguars and the Packers, Green Bay coming into town Halloween week, October 27th, before Hallows Eve, and then 12/15, December 15th is when the Jets come rolling.
I guess my point is you go 4-0 in that schedule, you've got a good team, a 1 seed type team.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah. And there are other ones. I trust Doug. Another one said that would be the first division sweep in franchise history if they can pull it off. And you're seeing some predictions as far as Trevor's numbers are concerned. It really does have to look good out of the box. It does. I think for people, or not for people, but for the team to really feel like they do have something. They've turned a major corner Now, this team did start off pretty well once they kind of got unhinged. But let's not forget what happened early in the season last year.
Yeah.
Losses to KC and Houston at home. Those are things
bad losses.
Well, I wouldn't say the Kansas City loss looked a hell of a lot better than the Houston loss. One was 17-9.
They could have played 16 quarters and not beaten the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it was the Lombardi holders, and you felt like you went.
Well,
you held Mahomes to 17 points.
Yeah, remember when I said last year? I said if you're gonna catch the Chiefs, catch them early.
Yeah,
because once they figure it out, it's a long haul.
And they did, and that's when they adjusted line-wise. They dealt with injuries. Rashee Rice became that developable receiver that they needed to get the football to. Paco, of course, did what he did from the backfield. So, yeah, they did. They just kind of engined up to the title again.
Well, listen, if this team goes 4-0 at the start of the season, that means that we're running the ball, we're physical on defense, we're getting sacks, we're getting turnovers, because 3 of those 4 games are on the road. I mean, you got to be a Viking to go on the road. You got to have a mindset coming on the road. It's going to be a tough haul, and you got to come in. You got to kick in the door, sit at another person's table, and eat their food. That's essentially what you got to do on the road. And I haven't seen that from this team as of yet. I mean, I've seen sprinkles of it, but you got to be tough on both sides of the ball. The quarterback's got to be sizzling. Trevor's got to be sizzling. Everything's got to be working for this team to go 4-0 with 3 games on the road.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're going to go 0-4. I also don't think they're going to go 4-0. But that's what I'm saying. If you can get 2. I think you got a chance to be in that 9-8, 10-7 area, which is going to get you the South. You'll win the division, and you're in the playoffs, and who knows what happens.
Just the fact that if you go on the road and snatch 2, if you can, and beat Cleveland here, how massive would that be? That really is. So the difference between 2-2 and 3-1 would feel massive at that point. 2-2 still good. It ain't like it's bad.
I think 2-2 is huge for that first 4.
It ain't like it's bad. All right, real quick, I just want to set this up, and then we'll stay on the Jaguars topic and then get to the college football world. But the drill was talking about this earlier, and it's worth getting into. Gus Logue from Big Cat Country from 1010XL was talking about it as well on a post. And so the coaches' rankings, according to ESPN, and we've done this during the offseason, but this is the most recent iteration of it. And Doug Peterson, Ryan Nielsen, and Press Taylor are basically the coaches that they're talking about. It's the 2 coordinators, and it's the head coach. Where do you think this Jaguars set of coordinators and head coach sits right now as far as those rankings are concerned heading into the season? Think about that. You guys can think about it. We'll tell you where they are, what was said about them, because what was said about Doug Peterson was really interesting. And you may say, oh, they're full of it, but it's definitely a point worth paying attention to. We'll get into that coming up. RJ, since we're in the noon hour, I say we give something away, okay? And you're a flowery kind of guy, are you not?
Absolutely. I don't know if I'm answering that correctly.
You're a flowery kind of guy. In other words, I'm saying you like to give flowers.
Yes.
That's a much better way to say it.
I was trying to paint a picture for him. So give some away right now.
Absolutely. A floral arrangement delivery courtesy of the good folks at Kuhn Flowers. 641-1010. Be caller number 2, and I'll hook you up.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to American-Electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 22nd, 1959, Cincinnati Reds future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Frank Robinson hits 3 consecutive home runs and 11-4 win over the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Right now, they're on their way to ruin your day. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. And if you're not prepared, you will suffer. Yes, it's that time of the year. Heat and humidity are attacking North Florida. But help is at hand. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air Conditioning. Mike Merritt has a license to chill and lets you maintain your comfort zone at a bargain price. How? Mike Merritt stands ready to help, routine or emergencies. And Mike Merritt knows emergencies can happen at any time. So with Mike, there's never any overtime charges. And Mike's team works without commissions. Merritt will never try to sell you parts you don't need. You can't trust just anyone with a truck. Call Mike Merritt, the company North Florida has trusted for 35 years. Call today. License number CAC 050384.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take $50, $75, $200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
It's the best time of the year again. It's football season, and with football season here, fantasy football has arrived. And forget the season-long leagues. Underdog Fantasy and the Underdog Fantasy app is the way to go. I've been playing it now for almost a year, and it is just suits me to a T. First of all, it's simple, right? Just choose higher or lower on statistical projections or compete against others in player v. player fantasy games. Either way, there's so many options. There's research there on the site. It's easy to use, and right now, you can get a little bit extra. That's right. Go to the mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code PROSSER. They're going to give you a special to use on your first contest and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PROSSER, and claim your new customer offer. Do it right now, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Got to be 18 or over, got to be present in the state where it's played, and call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org if you have a problem.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Tomorrow, the Jags finish off their preseason as they take on the Falcons in Atlanta. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence spoke yesterday to the media on playing against Atlanta's backups.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's every team's own decision decided they're going to play. For us, it doesn't change anything. You still got the same job to do. It doesn't matter who's out there. There's a bunch of good players, whether they're starters or not, and we gotta bring our best game on Friday. So we're preparing the same way, and we're going to be ready to go regardless who's on the field. It doesn't really change our plan any.
Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Listen to the game live on 1010XL. Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
XL Primetime, noon hour. We definitely have been having a good time. Corona helping kick off your weekend, and they always warn you, summer's slipping away. Just keep enjoying that. Get out under the sun, enjoy it, but get ready to kick off your football season as well. With a cold Corona, could be Premier, Extra, whatever it might be. Corona Light still extremely popular here on the First Coast, so make sure you check it out. And then they will be part of your Ultimate Tailgate, giving you every month a chance to win a killer tailgate package. You'll hear all the details about that as we go along, but you can start thinking about the Ultimate Tailgate by going to 1010XL.com. All right, so I mentioned the coaches' rankings, and what did you guys think? And like we said, we've done this exercise, and the folks at ESPN decided to break it down with opinion behind what they're putting out there, and they are doing the head coach, offense, and defensive coordinator. Where would you put them?
Well, I mean, Doug Peterson, he has to be elevated because he's got a Super Bowl championship, of course. Press Taylor last year, his questionable calls on the offensive side of the ball. And then you're talking about Nielsen, who's only been a defensive coordinator 1 year. So they would have to pull him down a little bit. I would go at 12.
Okay.
As far as the staff goes.
Matt?
Yeah, you know how I feel about Doug Peterson. We did this exercise with just the head coaches a couple weeks ago, and I said he's got to be top 7, top 5, top 7. But I think the OC and the DC are definitely going to pull him down. I would think he's probably further than you think. Probably 13 or 14, maybe even further than that.
Yeah, lower. It is lower. It is lower.
Really?
Yeah. And when Dan and Jeff were talking about this morning, I'm pretty sure Prost nailed it. And so I'll just tell you where it's at. And I would not have guessed this low. It's not smack dab in the middle. It's below the middle. It's 18. 18. Wow. Now, here's the interesting part. And like we said, you can come up with any criteria that you want. You can rank him high or low. And the way they ended the season last year, I'm sure didn't lend itself to ranking him higher. But just listen to what they wrote. Peterson is one of only 3 head coaches on this list to have won a Super Bowl in the past 10 years. There's more than that right now that's still out there. But in the past 10 years, he's one of 3. Andy Reid, Sean McVay are the other 2. They have staffs that are in their ranking top 5. Okay, so Andy Reid, it's obvious. Sean McVay, pretty dang good. And so they have them in the top 5 as 2 other Super Bowl coaches that have won in the last decade.
Their staffs are really good, too.
Yeah. I
mean, Spagnuolo might be the best DC in the league.
So good. And the fact that he's been able to retain him, and maybe Spagnuolo just, from his time up in New York, he just said, you know what? I'm going to be a DC till I die, and I'm going to be happy. And he's probably compensated very well. But they finished writing, yet here are the Jaguars all the way down at number 18. Peterson hasn't done in Jacksonville much of what made him successful during his early years in Philadelphia. He was on the crest of the run-pass option wave then, which made offense simpler for his quarterbacks. But now the Jaguars asked Trevor Lawrence to run a fairly traditional West Coast offense without many of the bells and whistles other quarterbacks get to enjoy. They still run RPOs and use play action and send players in motion, but nothing is weaponized the way elite offenses do it in today's NFL. I just want to stop there. I'll read a couple of the other pieces. But what do you think about that? Because at the end of last year, you saw obviously what Kyle Shanahan does out in San Francisco is pretty special. You saw Detroit scheming up a lot of the same kind of stuff. You saw Houston do it as well because both of those guys came either under the Shanahan or the McVay tree, and it did look like this team offensively. I love the way they wrote it, weaponizing that West Coast system.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, that's even more reason for me to believe that Doug Peterson should take over the helm as offensive coordinator. He just said what he just said. What is different from what he did in Philly, and who knows? I mean, Press Taylor's running the ship now. Maybe a lot of the intricacies of the offense has to do with him and his play calling.
Yeah.
And maybe if Doug, maybe he can go back to some of those fine ways that he did in Philly if he takes over the helm as the play caller.
So they right.
I think if this whoever did it, I didn't hear you say who did this. So if whoever did this, I think runs the same formula, the same scenario after 2022, it's a completely different story because that offense at the end of 2022 was as good as any in the league outside of the Chiefs. As good as any in the league. The way they were going up and down the field, the way Trevor was throwing the ball, the way they were running the ball, the play calling. Remember the fourth down, the run to ETN on that fourth down that sealed the game was just a phenomenal play call. So in 2023, and it pains me to say this, man, but I think, I think the injuries on the offensive line had something to do with the way they were calling the game.
I do agree.
You can only do so much of that RPO stuff if you can't block.
Yeah.
Because RPO stuff is a lot of not only is your quarterback reading not only the run game but also the safety.
Yeah.
You can't just you need like at least 2 seconds to read. That's a process.
Yeah.
That's not something that goes quick like that. And if defensive line is on you immediately, you can't do those things.
Yeah, all right,
you can't take those 5 and 6 step drops either. There's a lot of things that have to change if you can't protect your quarterback.
Right. So I think you're 100% on it. Like hit the nail on the head type of stuff.
And I hate saying that because I hate using injuries as an excuse.
Yeah, but you hit the nail, and the thing is, if you hit the nail, and I'm sure a lot of people out there agree with that, why didn't they deal with it?
Well, yeah.
Why didn't they deal with it?
You're talking to the guy who's screaming guard. For
exactly. All right, so
months.
Ben Solak is the dude who wrote this for ESPN, and here's just how he couched it. And then I want to read the Press Taylor part from Ben Solak. I tried to not just rank teams on win-loss record or on reputation, but consider with which staff I would start my franchise if given the opportunity to draft any group in the league. Some considerations. Past performance is a helpful guide, but only to a degree, and in big samples. We can use defensive coaches to explain. Anyway, it goes on and basically explains his theory
the
on
5 staffs in front of him. So 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Do you have those?
I'll probably go through those. Let me just read this real quick, and then I'll go through those. Because as an example, I'll just give you one, the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles had to also wholesale change what they were doing this past year. They had to wholesale change it. All right, this is what Solak wrote about Ben Taylor, or Press Taylor. Taylor, who has long been connected to Peterson, has been the subject of offensive frustration. Took over play calling in 23. It looks like he'll keep it in 24, even though the offense declined in success rate, points per drive, and expected points added per play once he manned the headset. Of note was a huge decline on late downs, where Peterson's offenses have typically been excellent. In 2022, the Jaguars ranked 9th in third down conversion rate and 15th in fourth down. In 2023, 17th and 26th. So if those numbers, those metrics, those analytics, however you want to describe it, they're all there and they dipped big time compared to the year before, is it the actual call? Is it the personnel that Matt's talking about? Or just the inability to pull it all together at the most crucial time?
Yeah, I hate to make excuses for the coordinator in his play calling, but the line of scrimmage is where it all starts, and they failed the offense, their inability to run the ball, the inability to convert it, because coordinators give you opportunities to run the ball, but if this offensive line is losing 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yards a carry, then he's got to resort to something else. Maybe he's got a call sheet, and maybe the offensive line isn't executing, so he has to do something different. So I mean, it goes hand in hand as far as they know what they're able to do. They know what they can't do, and then you have to call the plays accordingly.
Yeah. All right, real quick. Just 3 spots behind them. Raheem Morris and the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know that I would have Jacksonville that close to Atlanta. 20th, the Arizona Cardinals. The 19th team, the New York Jets. And Robert Saleh's kind of like got his job on the line a little bit. Then you got the Jags at 18th, and then you've got just ahead of him the LA Chargers with Jim Harbaugh just coming back into the league. And Greg Roman and Jesse Minter as their OC and DC. And then you have, let's see here, 16th, the Dallas Cowboys. Shoddy, Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's a well-respected defensive guy. Heck of a lot more experience than Ryan Nielsen, so you might go along with that. Shoddy, he's been everywhere. Son of a guns, coordinating the offense again in Dallas. And Mike McCarthy is rated 2 spots ahead of Doug. Then you got the Philadelphia Eagles. I just mentioned them a minute ago. Sirianni and now Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, he hired a hell of a good defensive coordinator, a guy with a lot of resume work. But at the same time, Fangio was down in Miami most recently and didn't do maybe as much as they were hoping there. So it's just an interesting study. And is Doug, by making the decisions he made to ship off a lot of the defensive guys and then not really tinker with the offensive staff at all, is he going to come out looking good? Is he going to come out looking better than 18th in the National Football League?
Well, I mean, it depends on how those other 2 guys develop, clearly, right?
Well, it depends on...
Let's see what happens with Ryan Nielsen. Let's see what happens with this defense. It looks a lot different from last year.
Yeah.
If we go just on what we've seen in training camp, it looks a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
If we look on just what we've seen in the practices against the Bucs, it looks a lot different. Mm-hmm. I go a lot more by those practices against the Bucs than I do the other 2 preseason games. Mm-hmm. So it looks different. I think this game tomorrow, if they do play a full half, I think then you're going to get an idea of, and if the Falcons play a full half, you're going to get an idea of where they are. Because they played this same Falcons team last year. And it was kind of like an ugly scrum for about, 3 quarters?
Yeah, and that's when Atlanta decided we're going to go in a different direction.
Right.
With our quarterback.
So, you're going to get an idea of the difference between last year and this year from this first half if they both, if all things being equal and everybody's playing their guys for a half.
Well, here's the thing. The Jaguars are going to play their 1s. The Falcons said they're going to play their 2s and 3s.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So if this team, if we struggle, we go 3 and out and go 3 and out.
Well, then you'll get something out of it.
It'll be a firestorm.
Yeah, you know what they're going to do though? They're going to go 3-0 in the preseason, just like they did a year ago.
No,
and everyone's going to feel good again. Like I said, this time last year, people were sky high. Mm-hmm. They had come off the playoffs. They were unbeaten in the preseason. They were looking apart. And we'll find out. All right, you guys keep it going. 641-1010. It is XL Primetime. Every Thursday, we're here from noon until 2. The Francis Show to follow. One of our texters said 100,000%. If we start 4-0, we're going to be the number 1 seed. No doubt in my mind, those first 4 games are going to tell us a lot. So you guys let us know what you think. He says if we start off strong, I believe we'll finish even stronger. That's what all of Duval is hoping.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Let's take a look inside 1010XL.
Who wants the Grand Tour?
That would be terrific. That would be great.
We have the drill in the morning.
Very amusing.
Jaguars today from 10 to noon.
Good.
Helmets and heels until 2.
Yes.
XL Primetime and the Franchi Show afternoons.
Hey, this is great.
Then Baloo and Hacker take you into the night.
All in one location.
1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
You hear that? That's the sound of your water bill tripling. Are you ready to fix the drip? Call Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services. They do it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Jennifer, Luxury has a new address in Jacksonville.
Oh, do tell, John.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard. We've got over 40 Cadillac Lyrics in stock.
40? That's incredible. Any color you want?
You bet. Pick your color and drive away today. Plus, we're giving away a free home charger with every Lyric.
Fantastic. Anything else?
How about a car you'll never have to change the oil on?
No oil changes ever? Now that's luxury.
Randy Marion Cadillac, where Jacksonville meets luxury.
Visit us today on Southside Boulevard and tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy, higher interest rates, 401ks, but I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Prosser here. Hey, pick a news source. But the reports are home prices are expected to decline in 2025, even after the election. So you need to maximize your home sales price now before this downturn, and you can do it with the agents proven to sell for top dollar, Chad and Sandy Newman. Hey, perhaps you're worried about selling for less money with a lowball out-of-state instant offer, or maybe you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not sure how. That's why you turn to Chad and Sandy, who have the answers. No required costly repairs. Chad and Sandy are the local real estate experts I trust and recommend for the sale of your home. Tony and Maggie at Jack's Golf and Country Club said, "We recently had a job transfer and we needed to sell fast. With homes in our area struggling to sell inside 100 days, we didn't know what to do. Our worries were solved when we hired Chad and Sandy. Our home sold in 3 days for one of the highest prices ever in our neighborhood at over $1 million. Call the local experts we trust, 904-414-6200 or ChadAndDSandy.com.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour on 1010XL. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 AM.
I'm with Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville, and even though you're the place to go for fun, you're also a place to go for generators. People need generators.
And the Honda lineup is amazing. They make the super quiet model, inverter technology, the electricity super clean. You can have conversations with them. You can back up your whole house with a Honda generator. So we have them in stock, and we're ready to ride.
So you have generators big enough that could run everything in the house?
Absolutely.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency for generators.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
The coolers are full at your local Gate gas station, making it easy for you to cruise in and cruise out with little downtime. Ice cold Coronas, Natty Light, Stella Artois, and Michelob Ultra. And don't forget the king of beers, Cold Buds. Gate's got them in the cooler, waiting for you.
At Farah and Farah, our philosophy can be boiled down to one word: respect. Respect for every client, regardless of who they are or the size of their case. Respect for innocent victims, and respect for the law. So when the insurance company thinks they can bully you instead of paying a claim, we respectfully disagree. If you're hurt, call Farah and Farah. We'll help you get the respect you deserve. Call 800-500-5555. Jacksonville.
Cold beer and good grub. That's what you'll get at Taps on 210. Just a great neighborhood feel where friends and family get together. Check out Taps in the Winn-Dixie Plaza, just west of 95 on County Road 210. Proudly supporting our 9 After 5 weekly. Head there for a cold one.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
For birthdays, anniversaries, or any situation that requires something really special, visit the Kuhn Flowers showroom on Beach Boulevard and select something that you can't find anywhere else. 1010XL's Andrew Gibson here, and that's the direction I head, Kuhn Flowers.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
The Sunshine State says it all in the nickname. That summer sun in Florida can take its toll on an air conditioning unit and send your electric bill through the roof. Florida Home AC can help you handle the heat with a brand new AC unit with low monthly payments and over $3,000 in federal tax credits on select systems. So this summer, don't sweat it out. Cool off with Florida Home AC, the official AC company of the Jaguars. Call them today, 777-4300, and check out their tremendous savings on a brand new AC system.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. The Florida State Seminoles wrapped up their last practice in the United States yesterday, ready to take the trip to Ireland. Head coach Mike Norvell met with the media after practice and recapped the Noles' final practice ahead of the opener.
I thought today was a good work day. Obviously Wednesday work week practice. It's great here for the first one. We've got to roll through this a couple times, and I think guys had an understanding of what to expect. Obviously try to continue to with that, and being the second day coming through on game, we really tried to push variations. But going into the first game, you prepare for all things.
Norvell believes they have a great plan for what is necessary to allow them to be their best come Saturday. It's 84 degrees at 1 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, and a quick homage to the ladies in helmets and heels. Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz and wide receivers coach John Budmeyer have been suspended for 1 game for violations related to the recruitment of transfer quarterback Cade McNamara 2 years ago.
Who
ESPN is reporting. It originally was reported by The Athletic, and Scott Dochterman does just a phenomenal job there.
Who is suspending Ferentz?
I believe it's the university, but they're doing it as a proactive for the NCAA, because the NCAA is currently investigating Iowa.
That's what I wanted to hear, is that this is kind of like Harbaugh and the boys up in Michigan when they decided, okay, we'll self-impose because we know it's coming, the wrath is coming. I just laugh.
It's illegal contact, apparently, is what
but
it
I
is.
just laugh. The NCAA is a caricature of itself, that this is a recruitment of Cade McNamara 2 years ago. When are you going to do something that happened recently and rule on it? You clowns up in Indianapolis. That is just such a clown show.
Like,
now,
what do you want them to rule on?
No power.
The same thing they're ruling on right now,
Well, I
except
know,
for
but
maybe
for
a
who?
year earlier.
Okay, so you're just mad that this is taking so long.
It takes them forever to do anything. It's a joke. And believe me, they did Michigan on the same thing with the pandemic.
I mean,
part.
Michigan, they haven't rolled on the whole Michigan sign stealing thing.
Yeah.
And we've already got a Netflix documentary out on
Exactly. And they're just they just barely ruled last year on the pandemic part of this. Okay, when they first did the self-impose.
2020. They just did that, literally, 2 weeks ago?
It's just, they're, All right, so that's
the cumbersome NCAA they're trying to get away from.
Yeah,
because you have to understand, like, when you talk about the NCAA, it's not just the football playing schools at FBS. It's 360 universities.
I'm just talking about whatever the investigative body is.
That's what I'm telling you. It's a process. The whole investigative body is a process. You can't just say, all right, we have this, and here's our response to it.
Okay, but this is a dumb question. Because those 300...
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you the way it is.
Right. Those 300-some universities are not doing that investigation.
No, they're not.
So whatever the investigative body is, they know what their job is.
That's why, look, the whole thing with, they're called the Autonomous Five. Now it's 4 conferences.
Yeah.
And the reason they're called autonomous is because they have their own rules. They are separate from the NCAA except for one way. They don't do their own enforcement because it costs too much. Yeah. So they'll leave enforcement to the NCAA, and it takes forever.
Yeah, I'd love to have that badge and just walk around, and I'll get back to you in 2 years.
Well, it costs too much to do it, so they can't do it. Like my guess is they would like to have their own enforcement arm, but if the autonomous schools have their own enforcement arm, the money they'd spend on that would directly come from the money they're going to have to pay the players. So they just can't do it.
Nah. All right.
Well, you can. I don't know what else to tell you. That's kind of where they're at.
But I guess where did the accusation come from? How many people do they?
Well, you know where it came from.
From another school.
From Michigan, of course.
Exactly, from a neighboring school or from McNamara's old school. And you only got to send one guy in there to kind of do their homework. And within, 45 days, they ought to be able to figure that puppy out.
It's also not an allegation. Obviously, it happened, or they wouldn't be suspending Kirk Ferentz, who prior to this has had just an absolutely spotless record with the NCAA. So, for the most part, there was that Robo stuff. That
they
really
definitely had some.
It wasn't an NCAA deal, but they were certainly working players.
It was some ugliness. Yeah, that was lawsuitish.
Right. But for the most part,
stuff.
My point is, as far as recruiting, he's never been in any kind of recruiting scandal at Iowa. Never.
All right, we're gonna get back to Jags. Couple of comments from you guys as far as what you think about better or worse your record. But let's just stay in the college football world. RJ, a little music as we just kind of get into the. We went ACC yesterday, Big 12 today, Big 10, SEC tomorrow. As we start laying down some predictions on where we think this Power 4 in the college football playoff is going to go. Every week, once the college football season starts, it's XLP all the way to the CFP. We'll be predicting our top 12 weekly. But just a couple of little backdroppers here for the Big 12. If you take a look at the conference as a whole, running backs are coming back in droves. Returning quarterbacks, they got a bunch of them. They had the top 8 rushers in college football last year, 6 of the top 19 playing in the Big 12 this season. More than 10 teams bringing their starting quarterback back. There's a lot of returning star power or skill in the Big 12. So who's it going to be? They're welcoming in Utah, Colorado, Arizona State. It's crazy. UCF got there a year ago. Now they're trying to at least kind of find their way. What do you think about the conference as a whole?
Well, I look at 4 teams that I think in the Big 12 have a legitimate chance to win the Big 12. I got Kansas. I got Kansas State. I got Oklahoma State, and I got Utah. And I'm going to stay with my prediction because I had this team in the Final Four. Not the Final Four, but I had them in as the conference champion. Kansas State. I got Kansas State.
Okay, you like Kansas State.
I got Kansas State, yes.
And that's that Chris Kleiman love. You have no problem, even though they lost their quarterback. Matt's in love with their new guy.
No, they didn't lose their quarterback. Their quarterback's Avery Johnson.
I know, but Will
Howard was not winning that job.
Well, I'm just saying they lost their quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
But they didn't. When you guys see Avery Johnson, you're going to be like, my God.
But you didn't even let me finish it. I said Matt's in love with their new quarterback, Avery Johnson.
But he played the end of last season. Go watch the end of the last 3 games last season.
Okay, I got a number for you.
He's a baller.
Okay, I got a number for you. The last 3 games of last season with your Avery Johnson, he barely completed 56% of his passes in the Big 12.
True.
Okay? And so they still, Will Howard is a good player. He is a good player. And so I'm just putting it out there.
I'm just putting it out there that Avery Johnson has Johnny Manziel potential.
Yeah, he is
a dual threat run-pass guy that will hurt a lot of people.
Very excitable. All right, so you got
Kansas State.
Kansas State at the top.
Only got one team coming out of the Big 12.
Yeah,
Kansas State.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I feel like I can't do it. I feel like there's got to be more. If we made ACC a 1-bid league yesterday, and we make the Big 12 a 1-bid league today,
and then we take a group of 5 in the Big 10.
That's just nuts, man.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? 641-1010. Because I think there's a few others that might be able to step in and be a CFP worthy.
Oh, I don't think there's any question you could get 2 from the ACC and 2 from the Big 12, and then you've got the group of 5. That puts you at 5, and then you've got 7 from the SEC and the Big 12.
Yeah,
I can see that happening easily. I like Oklahoma State, man. I love the fact that offensively they're loaded.
Ollie.
We've talked about Ollie Gordon. Rashad Owens and Brendan Presley are terrific receivers. They added the tight end from Ohio in the transfer portal. And, you've got now Alan Bowman, who will start season number 7. Season number 7 of college football for Alan Bowman. And And Gundy gets that team ready to play.
Well, I'm wondering after he said, hey, tell your agents to quit calling the other day, how that's going to help with some of his stars that are going. That was my
If you think about Oklahoma State, like in the Big 12, it's always been where they stumble. It's typically Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Texas and Oklahoma are gone.
They're gone. It's like UCF. UCF only had a half dozen wins last year. But do you remember their game against Oklahoma? They went toe-to-toe right down to the wire.
Fourth quarter game, yeah.
30-29. And so even though it was only a half dozen wins for the mighty UCF Knights, I still think they got a chance to at least improve on that. All right, so the teams, how many you got?
I got one. Like, I have one. I could see Oklahoma State going 11-1 and Kansas State going 10-2 when they play in the Big 12 championship game and Kansas State wins. Then they both have 2 losses and they both get in. But yeah, I'm going with one right now.
Yeah.
I'm going with one.
I feel like Kansas has got a chance. I think their quarterback is pretty dang dynamic too. Not Jalen Daniels, and what they've been able to do. I like to call him Leopold, but Leopold's been very, very good as their head coach, and he will get plucked out of Jayhawk territory if they have another successful season. Oklahoma State, can't disagree with them. I've got Iowa State, the most production returning. They weren't spectacular this past year, but I like what Iowa State has coming back this coming season. And then you have to include Utah in any conversation when we're talking about who can make a run, because if they get a healthy Cam Rising, which is what they're expecting, they get him back. You know what one of our favorite coaches, Kyle Whittingham, can do on the defensive side of the ball. They play a lot of good defense, and you always have to ask the question, how much is actually being played in the Big 12? So he'll come in with some good D and slow down some of those high-powered attacks. So, yeah, I would put Utah, Iowa State in the conversation. Those are my two. By the way, Matt Campbell, with all the love that he got, it has been an up-and-down existence up there in Iowa State, has it not?
A little bit. You're betting on Anthony Beck's son at quarterback, huh?
Rocco. Yeah. And look, they bring so many guys back. I want to say they're in the top 5, top 7 in returning production.
I think they have like 18 stars.
Yeah, in the Power 4. So they definitely have a lot of guys coming back. And Rocco is one of those guys, redshirt sophomore. We'll find out whether he can get it done or not. But the Big 12 is kind of an unknown, especially with the way we pay attention to the SEC and the ACC and the Big 10 for that matter. They're the ones that are just kind of like invisible to a lot of football people's eyes over here, especially now that Oklahoma and Texas.
I don't mind the Iowa State pick because the game, they were 7-6 last year, but they lost by 7 to Iowa. They lost really bad loss by 3 to Ohio. You lose by 7 to Kansas. You lose by 10 to Texas. Blown out by Oklahoma. But there's potential there.
Right. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. I don't know that they have, at the end of the day, the elite dudes to get to that point where they can win the conference or get to the playoff. As prior, it was the near 6 games where they got with Brock Purdy. Now where that would be the playoff. I don't know that they have that level of player right now to do that.
All right, let's do the 10-10 take real quick on that note, because I'm trying to figure out what our CFP math is all about right now.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pit masters since '68.
Sonny's, they've got 2 and 3 meat combos. That means you can pick whatever you want. It could be pulled pork and ribs one day. It could be chicken and turkey another day. It could be anything, along with all those great sides. Lunch, dinner, tailgating, whatever it might be, make sure you check out any one of your area Sonny's Barbecue. So I think to myself, as we're having this exercise, there is no flipping way we're only taking one from Big 12 land and one from ACC country and stacking them with a group of 5 against 9 out of the SEC and the Big 10. It just cannot happen. Now, we have had conversations at different times in the offseason that we saw as many as 5 from the SEC. We saw there's 18 teams.
It would have been 10 last year from the SEC and the Big 10.
It would have been if it were the
only 2 would have been Florida State and the Group of 5 team. That's it. Other than that, they all would have been SEC or Big 10 teams.
Yeah,
in the current setup.
You're including the Pac-12 teams now. Okay, I got you. But I'm just sitting here trying to wrap my head around it. I can see 5 SEC teams making it. I suppose I could see 4 from the Big 10, because you could go Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon, And, there might be another one out there as well. Isn't it crazy?
Nebraska.
Yeah, Matt Rule and the boys. So anyway, that's the 10-10 take. I can't quite figure out whether we're only going to get one or two from those, quote, lesser conferences and then just load up on the SEC and Big 12.
I mean, you might get 3 from the Big 12. What if the Big 12 gets all crazy and you've got, 3 teams at 11-1 at the end of the season?
Right.
I mean, it's a big league. They're playing each other. Mm-hmm. It's not that good of a league, right?
Well,
so
that's
you
what we
easily could end up. You easily could end up with 3 available teams. Then it's okay. Well, is that 11-1 team that doesn't get into the championship game? Are they as worthy as a 10-2 SEC team or a 10-2 Big Ten team or even a 9-3 SEC
all right,
team?
All worth debating. That's what we love about college football. Let's say hello to Ira Schafel. It's Ira in Ireland. Coming up next, we say thanks to Corona on a Thursday as we kick off your weekend. Just start partying with us. Remember, slice of lime or not, doesn't matter. Just enjoy a Corona as you finish off your summer and get ready to kick off for football.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. Gator Nation, this is your home for Gator Talk. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool.
Feeling the heat, Jacksonville? Cool down with Bold City Heating and Air. From repairs to energy-efficient installs, we do it all. Family-owned and trusted since 2016, we offer clear pricing, NATE-certified techs, and unbeatable service. Call Bold City Heating and Air today and experience the bold difference.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
Calling all fans of Duval to downtown Las Vegas during the game against the Silver and Black. This is Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Heels. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this December for the Jacksonville Game Day Getaway featuring an incredible all-in package. Get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a daybed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available until August 30th, so act now. To book and to join the Heels in Vegas, visit circalasvegas.com today.
I'm Hacker. Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gator Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Life has its share of challenges, and when it puts you to the test, make sure you reach out to Rebound Rehabilitation to give you the quickest path back to full health and confidence. Rebound Rehab, specializing in helping patients overcome back pain and sciatica, arthritis, and fibromyalgia, just to name a few. Rebound Rehab, locations covering the entire First Coast, getting you back in control with a pain-free life. Sports injury, workplace injury, whatever it might be, you can rebound. Log on to reboundrehab.com for more info.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
I like this. This will get you in a mood for the pint. Our man, Ira, in Ireland. Ireland, for Irish FL, from warchant.com. Welcome in, Ira. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Dublin, you got to at least give us a little bit of an idea. Weather, how cold is the beer? What has the fellowship been like over there?
The beer is cold for sure, no question about that. Yeah. The weather has been okay. It's pretty cloudy. We had one day where it was a little bit more sunny, but for the most part, it's been pretty cloudy here and there, but not too cold. I mean, it looks cold as it is. It looks like a cold northeastern day,
right?
When it's kind of dreary, but the temperature really has been around.
All right. Hopefully your phone will hold up because it's got that weather getting to it just a little bit. But all right, so let's just get to the game since we have limited time with Ira in Ireland. What has it been like just in terms of the festivities around this game? I know that Norvell and FSU traveling over now, but what have the festivities and the surroundings been like?
Actually arrived earlier today, and I actually got to see a few of the players walking around Dublin, taking in some of the sights. I think they were going to practice this afternoon and then get a little free time, I think, again later this evening. But then I think after that, it's going to be pretty much locked in on the game. And then on Saturday, the day after the game, the players are actually going to get a day to kind of sightsee. But, the town is filled with Florida State fans. I would say, from what I've seen so far, it looks like Florida State fans are going to outnumber Georgia Tech fans maybe 4-1. Wow. There's a ton of Florida State fans here, and they're getting after it, man. They like to party, and there's a lot of places to party in the city of Dublin.
Hey, Ira, what are the expectations of DJU? What do you expect to see from him on Saturday?
I think to me, he's a good college quarterback. He's not amazing, but I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as some people think. People look back to that 2021 season when he probably wasn't ready, and they had a lot of other things going on at Clemson, and he really struggled. But the last 2 years, if you look at his numbers, they're good. He's been a good college quarterback, not outstanding, but good. And I think it'll be similar to that this year. The good thing for Florida State is I don't think they need him to be a superstar. I mean, they've got a veteran, big, strong, athletic offensive line. They've got a really good running back room. And I think they've got a very good defense and excellent special teams. So I think this is going to be a different-looking Florida State team, and they need DJ to make the throws when they're there and not make mistakes. I don't think they need him to be a superstar to win a lot of football games.
All right, the one area you did not mention, and I kind of think this might be the Achilles heel, if there is one for this team right now this year, the receivers. How do you feel about the receiving core right now? They're going to need some young guys to play a little better, like the fifth-year seniors there that really haven't done much in their career. And you got a guy like Benson who, while he was the number one JC prospect last year, just didn't get on the field with Alabama when he was there.
Yeah, I guess I'm the opposite of the monkeys and Shrek. I'm not a believer in the receivers on this team for Florida State. I think that they might get better and better as the year goes on, but I think that's part of why I don't think Florida State's going to look for DJ to be a superstar. I think the passing game can be decent, and I think as the year goes on, it could get better. But this is not last year's wide receiver, so. Whether it's Jordan Travis or DJ Uyunglele or whoever at quarterback, I think this receiving core, I think it's going to start off pretty average. Now, they've got some young, talented receivers that I think are going to get better and better. Hakeem Williams, who's going to be a sophomore this year. Jalen Brown, a redshirt freshman who transferred in from LSU. He actually may start. I think he's going to get better and better as the year goes on. They have a couple of true freshmen, Lawayne McCoy out of Miami and Elijah Moore out of Maryland, two have been really outstanding receivers so far, but I don't know how much you're going to see of them on Saturday in a season opener in their first college game in Dublin. So, I think the passing game might get better and better as the year goes on, but early on, I think it's going to be pretty pedestrian.
We're talking with Ira Schafel, warchant.com. They got all sorts of things cooking on the site. He heads it up, and you can definitely follow him on X at Ira Schafel. So I look at the betting lines, and it has struck me, and we've been talking about it, Ira. This game at one point may have been 13 or higher. Mm-hmm. It is down to around 10, 10.5. Why?
I think this is a great spot for Georgia Tech. And I think people are probably smart to fade Florida State a little bit on this game just because, Georgia Tech's strength, I think are going to fit them really well in this game. The fact that they love to run the football. Haynes King can throw it, but he also can run it. So if the weather's not great, that's going to play into his hands. In their offense's hands. I also think they've got so much continuity. They figured out what they had on offense midway through last season. They played so much better in the second half of last season, and almost all of those guys are coming back. You've got a 1,000-yard back. You've got a dynamic quarterback. You've got a veteran offensive line. Whereas Florida State, I think their offense could get there, but is it going to be ready for game one? That's a big question. And so really, to me, it comes down to on the other side of the ball, is Georgia Tech's defense made enough improvement to slow down Florida State's offense? And Georgia Tech's defense was atrocious 1 year ago. It was one of the worst in the country. Florida State's offense might be a little bit uneasy early in the year. So to me, it's the biggest known is Georgia. The biggest known in this football game, I think, from a public standpoint, is Georgia Tech's offense. And if you're going to get 12, 13 points, it definitely seems like the way to go. So it doesn't shock me the line has come down. But I also think Florida State's depth in the trenches should help them pull away late in the game.
The segue of what you were just talking about, if DJU does struggle early on, I think one of my favorite position groupings, it has to be that offensive line. It's a veteran group that plays physical football, and you got two running backs that can get the job done. So I think is that not right? That offensive line can carry this team if DJ struggles early?
100%, and I think they're gonna try. If I'm Mike Norvell, I'm not really gonna ask DJ to be the answer early. I really am gonna lean on that offensive line. They returned three starters basically: left tackle Darius Washington, Maurice Smith at center, and the right tackle is Jeremiah Byers, and all three of those guys are 5th, 6th-year offensive linemen. Then they brought in 2 SEC guards. You bring in Richie Leonard, who was a starter at Florida, and T.J. Ferguson, who was at Alabama. He wasn't a starter, but he was an Alabama offensive lineman. 1 year ago, they brought in another SEC offensive lineman, Keandre Jones from Auburn. So, I think they're going to be a big physical group, and I think, the approach is going to be for Florida State is to take as much pressure off of DJ early in these games by running the ball, by playing good defense. The problem would be that the nightmare scenario for Florida State, I think, is if Georgia Tech hits a couple big plays early in this game, they get a lead, and now Florida State feels like DJ has to win the game, has to make plays, or he feels that pressure. That is a scenario I don't think Florida State fans are going to want to see.
Right. They're not chasing points like they could with Jordan Travis. No way. Right. No way. I agree completely, Ira. I kind of look at them as their idea this year, at least until like October when it starts to get real, is just to play bully ball on both sides of the ball and find out who and what they are. And then hopefully, like you said, DJ becomes a more confident guy and he throws the ball accurately, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, to me, there's so much that this team is going to change dramatically as the year goes on. A lot of people are asking questions right now about the playoff snub from last year and, how last season ended and the motivations of that. I honestly don't think this team is in a position to really even care about that because they have so many new players, so many new faces on the depth chart. I think that would become a factor as the year goes on. So Florida State gets to week 6, week 7, week 8, and they're in the playoff hunt, then I think you'll see them rally around that cause, the idea that, hey, we got screwed last year, we got to prove everybody wrong. But right now, I don't think they're in that mindset. I think right now they're in the mindset of, what do we have, what can we count on, and can we win these games early in the season with what we know we have.
All right, a couple more for Ira Schoffel, warchant.com, at Ira Schoffel on X, with all things FSU coming out of Dublin. I look at Georgia Tech. I'm stoked to see Haynes King because I really think he's an emerging player. Led the league in touchdowns last year. It is hard to believe. When is the last time Georgia Tech averaged 31 points a game? Honestly, and that's what they did last year. So how good do you think this defense will be against him? Because I do think he's an emerging quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's, to me, the matchup of the game, because if Georgia Tech wins that matchup early in the game, now you put that pressure on Florida State's offense. I think Florida State's defense is excellent. I think it's going to be very, very good. I know what they lost. They basically only have really 4 starters back from that defense a year ago, but I think it's a little misleading because Darrell Jackson probably would have been a starter if he was healthy last year. At least would have been on that level. Azareye'h Thomas was basically a starter at cornerback last year as a kind of their third corner, dime and nickel corner. They also they brought in some big time players. Marvin Jones Jr. from Georgia was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school 2 years ago. I think he's a big time player, and they've got several others as well, guys that, they brought in a linebacker from Auburn, Cam Riley, who I think is a SEC caliber linebacker. He started a bunch of games at Auburn. So I just think it's misleading when you look at returning starts. When you look at this team physically, there's not going to be many more teams more physically impressive than this Florida State defense. Now, the question is, will they be as disciplined as that team was last year? Will they be as assignment sound as that team last year? That defense in 2023 didn't give up a lot of cheap scores. They really kind of made teams earn every yard they got. We have to see if this is that same type of defense. But from a talent standpoint, they've got it. On the flip side, though, as you've said, Haynes King is a big-time talent. He is not going to be afraid of Florida State. He ran for about 700 yards last year, passed for 2,800 yards. He'll run for touchdowns. The one knock on him is he did turn the ball over a lot. He had 16 interceptions. And so for Florida State, they've got to take advantage of those opportunities if they're still there, get pressure on him, make him try to make plays, force the ball into tight windows, and then capitalize on those opportunities.
Listen, man, we appreciate you making time. Ira in Ireland, there's 3 of us here, so you can have 3 extra pints on us. Will you do that for us?
I will. No, you don't have to twist my arm. I'm there for you.
I knew you would be. Thank you, man.
Have a great time.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right. Definitely check them out at Ira Schoffel. And
they do not want that game to get to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They just don't. Man, I'm telling you, if that game gets to the fourth quarter and they need DJ to make a play,
yeah,
That's a recipe
and
for disaster.
Like I said,
man.
we may come out of this game saying Haynes is the better quarterback that was on that field.
But eventually he has to grow up, bro. I mean, you got to put him in positions where he's got to. That's the only way.
He is what he is right now at this point, is he not?
Yeah, but if you're in a position, listen, in that huddle with that quarterback, you got to believe that he can get it done. I would love to see that scenario where he has to bring it back.
All right, so let's follow that. Before we get done, we'll touch on it. Get ready for the Fran to show up at the 2 o'clock hour. It is XL Primetime.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
Do the Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Chelsea here. Summer is winding down, and so are prices at the Renewal by Andersen end of summer window and door sale. Upgrade your home with custom Fibrix windows and doors. Whether you need custom energy efficient, hurricane resistant windows, or a stylish patio door, we've got you covered. A better way to a better window. Visit us at bestwindowsflorida.com for details. Transform your home before fall with the end of summer sale. Proud partner of the Florida Gators. License number CGC 1527613.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 22nd, 1959, Cincinnati Reds future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Frank Robinson hits 3 consecutive home runs and 11-4 win over the St. Louis Cardinals.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and the long, lazy, and hot days of summer are in full swing. There's nothing quite like it unless you can enjoy summer worrying that your AC will break down. So do what I did and call the good folks at Fenwick Home Services. Book your tune-up with Fenwick's expert technicians to avoid those costly summer breakdowns. You can trust Fenwick to get your AC running again and get it done right the first time. Day or night, 24/7, Fenwick Home Services is here to keep your family cool and comfortable all year long. Book online at FenwickHomeservices.com.
This summer, beat the heat at Best Bet, your premier poker destination. Whether you're a seasoned poker pro or a first-time card player, you'll find a cool retreat from the summer heat with thrilling poker games, big payouts, and refreshing drinks. Join us for an unforgettable experience. Cool off and cash in at Best Bet. The stakes are high, the cards are hot, and your chance for fun is guaranteed. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand-new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
As the Jags head up to Atlanta, QB Trevor Lawrence spoke on how important it is to get in more reps in their last preseason game tomorrow with rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr.
You know, I think as many live reps with him, too, as I can get, just that's valuable. Things move a little faster in the game. And, you know, he's done a great job the last 2 weeks playing well and creating separation and being open. He's done a great job. You know, I think those reps are really important for us just to continue to build that chemistry, to get his timing. Because, like I said, everything does speed up, especially for those guys once the game hits. So as many reps as we can get together is going to pay off for us and for his development moving forward. I mean, he's a guy that when he sees something, he learns from it.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Well, my take for the day is that we had a segment earlier called Better or Worse. All right, do I feel better or worse about this team? And I do. I feel better. I don't know if it's optimism. I don't know what I've been drinking, the Kool-Aid. I have been doing something, but I like what I've seen from this team in training camp and in the preseason. Hopefully that has some good carryover for this season.
All right, good. Takeaway?
All right, my takeaway is I'm excited for tomorrow. Even if it's against second and third teams, just want to see operationally sound offense going up and down the field on second and third teamers and scoring points.
Yeah.
Scoring points.
Yeah.
For as long as that first team's in there.
Right, and hopefully not too long.
No three and outs. If you're going against second and third teamers, there's no three and outs involved.
Success. My takeaway is that 18th position, according to the ESPN folks with the coaches' rankings, is that it is really heavy-duty stuff, challenge-wise, to Doug Peterson to up his stock as far as the coach and the coaches that he has underneath him to move up in the ranks, be a top 10 group when it's all said and done. I'm not saying they deserve to be 18th. I think they should be a little higher, but still, that's basically saying Press didn't do a good enough job last year, and you had to clean house on the other side of the ball, and you had to go hire another guy. So we'll find out exactly where that goes. That's for sure. But we'll spend a lot of time tomorrow looking at the game. We got to get down to those roster cuts. Coach will be in with us. We'll get back to our position groups and all that kind of stuff. But right now, since we did have Ira on and we were talking some FSU versus Georgia Tech, some ACC ball, let's do this.
Here's a bold fact. Brought to you by Bold City Brewery, Duval's first craft brewery. Online at boldcitybrewery.com.
So we talked about what Haynes King was last year, and he definitely did a dang good job as far as lifting Georgia Tech, creating a new offense that Georgia Tech had. We already mentioned that he led the ACC in touchdowns, and he was just ahead of Drake May, who was number 3 in touchdowns in the ACC last year.
Number 3.
Number 3, because you had Haynes, then Drake, and then who was after that?
Jordan Travis.
I love RJ's.
This is total touchdowns, right? Passing and running.
It just says touchdowns.
Touchdowns, okay. What was the kid's name? Riley Leonard? He got hurt, though, right?
Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt.
I don't think it's Jordan Travis.
I'm just going to say
sure
passing.
someone is coming back.
I'm going to say passing touchdown, just so we make sure
it's passing touchdown.
Well, that's usually the rule that you go off of is touchdowns, passing touchdowns, just so we're clear, because I know the fact checker over here.
Oh yeah.
Well, you said touchdowns. And then
I know that. I know that.
Okay, I'll go Kyron Jones. Virginia Tech.
I'm going to go Jordan Travis.
All right. Believe it or not, with 21 touchdowns compared to Jordan Travis's 20, it was Jack Plummer of Louisville.
Of Louisville.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the way, he laid him a big old cardinal egg in that game, the championship game. But he had 21 passing touchdowns.
He was terrible in that game.
Yeah, he was awful in that game. And Jordan Travis obviously got hurt, so wasn't able to get to the finish line, but had 20 passing
It was
touchdowns.
awful because Florida State defense had a lot to do with that awfulness.
Well, they did.
I mean, I guess.
But he was bad.
Yeah, they did.
But he was bad, though.
Yeah,
He was.
yeah.
He was, like, terrible.
Did Florida State have a third-string quarterback?
Brock Glenn was playing.
Yeah.
And that's, honestly, I was lauding Jack Plummer down the stretch, especially with what...
I think Tate was still in, right? Tate was still playing.
He got hurt in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt.
No, he got hurt. He came out of the Florida game hurt. So Brock Glenn, I'm pretty sure. Brock Glenn, I'm almost positive started that game. FSU fan can correct us on that one. But anyway, a bold fact brought to you by Bold City Brewery. They got 2 locations. The production house right there on Roselle in Riverside. That means they got that great menu. We're talking smash burgers on a Thursday. Burgers, bingo, beer. You can enjoy all of it. They have all sorts of great specials. You can just log on boldcitybrewery.com, see the different things they got going on each night of the week, and then also find them Bold City downtown right there on Bay Street or on the shelves when you're shopping for great craft. That's Duval's first brewery, celebrating 16 years.
It was Brock Glenn, by the way.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, at the flex field, looked pretty good.
He did, and it's funny because I was talking to a couple of FSU guys. I know you guys were like, we're all trying to zero in on what's going to happen. The transfer portal is the most fluid thing in the world. And for the fact that Brock Glenn was there and then DJU to come in and immediately basically know coming in he was going to be the number 1 guy, that would make me worry if I'm Brock Glenn. And that if I'm FSU, that would make me worry about Brock Glenn.
He's got some arm talent, man. Like I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like see him, he like transfers to somewhere like Purdue. And he has a big season. I wouldn't be surprised at all by that.
Yeah, but the word is there from the FSU folks is that he sees this as an opportunity next year.
So he's going to sit and wait, huh?
That's what that's the feeling. But I'm like,
he's dealing with Luke Kromenuk too.
Yeah, and when you have somebody walk in when you're supposed to be the guy behind the guy, and then that other guy takes it, yeah, that would kind of send me in another direction.
They're also recruiting another quarterback in this coming recruiting class. So,
yeah, and Kromenuk is a young, big, talented player out of South Georgia that looks like he's got a chance to definitely step in and challenge for immediate playing time next year post DJU. And so he would be the guy that Brock Glenn would have to beat out.
You know what he needs to do?
What?
Compete. Just,
that's it.
The kid from Mandarin committed to Florida State, right?
Yeah,
the Mandarin quarterback.
Trell Jones. Yeah. And so there's another one that's coming in. The Mandarin players right now, between their quarterback, their wide receiver, they got some good players. We're going to look at 2 or 3 of those tomorrow afternoon. We'll sneak it in somewhere, but there are 2 or 3 really good matchups at the opening week of high school football. So we'll do our high school hit with I&I Sports and Gatorade, but you got Baker County, Bradford County, you got Bowles and Rains, you got Nice and PV. You got some good ones to kick us off. And so they're going to jump right into it. That's for sure. So it's going to be fun looking at those. But back to the FSU depth is that we look around and we talk about all these portable quarterbacks. That's what they are. They go through the portal, change uniforms, and the next thing you know, they're starting for somebody else, and they have become portable quarterbacks. Just basically, here's your new ID. you're now the quarterback at FSU or you're now the quarterback at Miami or whatever the case is. It's nuts how it's changed. And we didn't have this as little as, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And now you got a ton of them. It's not just player movement. It's just quarterback movement.
It's the position. I mean, it's the old cliche, but it's true. Only one can play.
Mm-hmm.
So if one guy's playing, you're sitting.
And everyone,
the odds of you playing and him sitting are not that good because unless somebody gets hurt, they're playing.
Mm-hmm. And everyone is willing to pony up some cash to improve that spot if they can.
Yeah.
And that's basically where the NIL world has led us to. I still have these NIL numbers that I want to get to, mainly from the college basketball world, but they are eye-popping. There's no doubt about it. But heck, when we see Carson Beck do the jet commercial and then drive around in a Lamborghini, nothing really should shock us right now, except for this guy. He'll shock us. I guarantee it.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
The Embedded and Shredded rolls in. Hayes Carline is the Franchise Show is going to be up at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Shock and awe. Were you shocked when you maybe caught that ESPN story with the coaches' rankings and Doug Peterson and the coordinators? 18th. That's below... Well, that's second half of the league ranking.
I was surprised. I think what the author was trying to say is, look, if I knew Doug Peterson was calling plays, he'd be in the top 12, if not top 10. But because of his insistence on having Press Taylor do it, I have to drop him. I can't argue it. I mean,
that part is...
I can't argue it. I mean, I don't understand the stubbornness behind it. You clearly have a talent for doing it. You now have hired a defensive coordinator that you've put your total trust into.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why I have to be able to manage the game. Well, you've got guys up in the box that can tell you that. Doug, we need a timeout here.
Yeah.
Doug, we should challenge this. I mean, so to not call the plays, when to me that is so crucial to how a game plays out. And so, I can't say it's unfair. I'd probably have them higher than 18th, because I do really think Doug Peterson is a good, I don't know about great, but good head coach. But stubbornness is a bad thing for coaches.
Yeah.
And I can completely understand why this, the author of this piece would say, I'm concerned. And I think he has specific reasons for the offense, for its stagnation, that are concerning.
Yeah. And Matt threw that point out earlier. You were forced to make certain type of calls based on what you didn't have, deficiencies, injuries, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we'll certainly get into all that. Rick Ballou is going to be with me today, so I would expect chaos, demolition. Frank's on his way to Atlanta for tomorrow night's game. So you got 2 hours of demolition coming up. We'll get shock and awe. We'll certainly break down all things Jaguars, Knowles, maybe talk a little Gators as well. But I don't know what this show is called, so we'll just go with demolition coming up for the next 2 hours.
That's beautiful. All right, Hayes, thanks,
Thank
man.
you, guys.
We look forward to it. All right, yeah, that's right. You got the travel team heading up to the ATL as they get ready for that game tomorrow night. So look forward to Hayes and Ballou. That'll be coming up with JJ. All right, we're back at 2 tomorrow, and we're going to make predictions. Okay, so now we're down to the SEC and the Big Ten. And that means...
And the playoff.
And the playoff. That means... And we've already done the playoff once before. We'll see how close we are to it again.
Let's change now.
Yeah. I know yours.
I'm all crazy right now.
All right. We're done. We say thanks to Corona. Don't forget. Look, finish off summer strong. Get ready for the kickoff of your season. You can do both with Corona. And then also, they get ready to award you monthly with the Ultimate Tailgate setup with our Ultimate Tailgate contest. You can definitely check that out at 1010XL.com. We are done. Joe C., Matty Hayes, Big Searcy, and RJ. You got Hayes Carline, Rick Ballou, JJ. It will be craziness.
Everyone wants to doubt Jacksonville.